Welcome to the final episode of the BILT Clean Energy webinar series, Going Clean, TVET and the Green Energy Transition. I am Esteban Navarro, the Project Manager of Global Education Project at Niagara College in Canada. This Learning Lab webinar series is implemented by UNESCO-UNEVOC in collaboration with Niagara College, with the support of the Federal Institute for Vocational Education and Training, and it's sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research in Germany. If this is your first time joining us for the Learning Lab webinar series, we recommend visiting the BILT website where you can find the recordings of the first 3 episodes.
This episode of the Learning Lab series, The Future of the Transition Economy and Clean Energy in TVET, will feature a panel of expert speakers who will answer questions related to TVET and the green energy transition. We are delighted to be joined by panelists from various international regions to give their perspectives and insights into emerging trends in TVET as we transition from a brown economy to a green one. Our first topic revolves around curriculum and how competencies for the green energy transition can be incorporated into new and existing curriculum in TVET. One area of education and learning that has seen significant growth in this area is microcredentials. Microcredentials are short, specialized certifications that demonstrate skills and knowledge in a specific area. They are particularly relevant to TVET as they provide targeted, flexible learning options that can quickly upskill individuals in new technologies, including those in green energy. This is crucial for the green energy transition as microcredentials can rapidly equip the workforce with the necessary skills for emerging renewable energy technologies and sustainable practices. This is just one area of curriculum. Let's hear what the experts have to say about this topic.
Are TVET programs and learning pathways flexible enough to prepare the workforce for the green energy transition?
Let me say that the TVET program needs great flexibility to meet the demands of the green energy sector. This includes offering like short courses, micro-credential, and recognizing informal skills in Guinea-Bissau and across Africa, where formal education's access is often limited. Flexible TVET programs are essentials. Expanding access through distance learning and mobile training units can effectively reach remote communities. It's also essential to design programs that empower women's and marginalized groups, ensuring an inclusive transition. By focusing on communities' needs, these measures will enable upskilling and a more equitable shift to the green jobs.
In our opinion, yes, because in Germany or within the crafts, which I'm basically representing for building and other areas, it's a very adaptive system which allows influence from the outside to have a very direct impact on the curricula. Just let me give you 1 or 2 brief examples. So we have a very close integration of a working force into our decision-making processes in Germany, which allows trade unions and others to participate within the curriculums. And on the other hand, we are having companies who are training the people basically in their own field, in their expertise. And in our experience, these companies are very flexible to implement new technologies and therefore are training their people on a very high level because it is it is required, that's a better word, by the customers because they really want to have that. And therefore, in my opinion, it's a very flexible system where we as a chamber could interact very well because we, with our training centers, also have the possibility to implement new technologies. We have to new machineries, so we are constantly reinvesting and giving new impulses, trying to get companies in a special way for getting better and having sustainable things within their mindset and trying to be greener companies. So it's very adaptive and many ways of influence. So in our opinion, the pathways are very, very flexible, even if the training regulations are not revised on a yearly basis or anything. So it's a good mechanism within the system.
So currently, I would say no, they aren't. I say this because a lot of the TVET curricula currently, so you look at your blended learning models. I'll use the South African context because that's the one I'm most conversant with. So you find there isn't a lot of inclusion of your online learning programs that are there. There's not a lot of your hands-on learning. So you find with these emerging industries, people are not able to receive these practical skills that are being provided through the TVETs. So it's either you're there on site without people having the ability to go and receive, say, your online training and not leave your job. So that's one of the issues that are there. And because of how there's this emergence of, there's a need currently. So people need these skills currently. So say for the solar sector or for the wind sector, what's happening is that there's an emergence of short courses that's coming through, but these are not coming through from the TVET space. They're coming through from private providers. So that's for the South African context. But one issue that we've seen from our research with regards to this short course culture is that it doesn't necessarily prepare you to transition or prepare you for a sustainable job. It prepares you for a single job. So whether it's to be an installer only. But what happens when that opportunity to be an installer isn't there anymore? So we feel that the TVETs need to have a system in which yes, there's a quick response in providing, say, maybe your short courses, but these short courses need to have foundational knowledge as well. So it gives people the opportunity to progress both horizontally and vertically in their careers.
What changes have you seen in the use of technology in TVET and industry, and what predictions do you have for the future?
Because of COVID, I've seen a lot of changes in the use of virtual platforms like Zoom, like Teams to deliver training materials. I've also seen more use of online quizzes, online whiteboard exercises to gamify the learning experience for students. I've also seen more hybrid approach of training courses. So by hybrid approach, I mean a portion of the training is live with the trainer where students are able to ask questions, and the other portion of the training is self-paced where students are able to take their time, watch some videos, read materials, do the exercises, and then come back to the live portion of the training to discuss whatever learnings they've done throughout the week. As we move further with the education, I think people are now busier than ever and attention spans are shorter than ever. So I think that we will see emergence of more online, shorter courses with 15-minute videos using AI avatars that are able to deliver real-like materials in different languages, in different accents. I see more uses of virtual reality where students are able to immerse in a hydropower plant to simulate actual operations and maintenance of different facilities. And I see more emergence of phone-based learning applications where you're able to learn at your own time every single day and be encouraged to learn every day by completing some task and gaining some points. So I think we need to keep up with the technological advances and changing learner needs.
In the end, you still are on the building side. You still have to work with your hands. So in my opinion, we still have to have a very, very narrow focus on the practical qualities. They really have to achieve. There's room. There it could be better, And on the other hand, I really think, or what we are experiencing already, is that VR, XR are actually technologies which will improve, especially in the training contexts, and they won't, they will work routines within daily life, but in our experience, it won't lead to a point where you don't need the practical part. So this will be always an integral part of our training programs, and therefore it is helping. It can help to have better learning outcomes. This is really like a prediction we are having. It could help to individualize or to get better individual training pathways, because you have more data, you can adjust, you can get more personal training curriculums, which will help with the learning outcomes. But in day-to-day life, we really have to focus on that the practical part is still on a high quality level, because this is actually what customers are paying for in my crafts, and they want a high quality within a good pricing, and that's one of the main reasons why this is adding up, but it won't be the only factor.
How can promising practices in integrating new competencies into TVET curricula be applied to support a just transition to green energy and the green economy?
To successfully integrate green competencies into TVET curricula, we must create a learning environment that reflects the green economy. This is where operational alignment comes in. A powerful approach is to transform our campuses into living labs where sustainability is not just taught, but experienced. The goal is to transform the campus where students learn about renewable energy, solar power, heat pumps, and electrification, while simultaneously being able to witness these technologies in action. By incorporating signage, dashboards, and interactive features, we can offer students a behind-the-scenes look at a green building's operations. As campuses undergo renovations or new construction, opportunities arise to showcase green building principles. For instance, displays of construction cross-section can highlight insulation and thermal bridge reduction, educating students about energy-efficient design. This hands-on approach creates a tangible connection between theoretical knowledge and practical application. We need a comprehensive curriculum review to prepare students for the green economy. This involves establishing new learning outcomes that encompass both direct green skills and broader sustainability concepts. For example, students should understand the role of heat pumps and electrification in low-emission electrical grids, as well as the integration of renewable energy and energy storage systems. To make learning engaging, we should incorporate project-based learning, guest speakers, and industry tours into the curriculum. This holistic approach develops both technical expertise and critical thinking, which are essential for success in the green job market.
So I would say, firstly, is having work-based learning and apprenticeships integrated into the curricula. So increasing the number of work-based learning opportunities that are in the TVET. So I bring this up because, as I mentioned earlier, it's very much dependent on the country. So if you look at a country like Germany, you see that there's a lot of coherence and collaboration between, say, your industry and the training institutions, a lot of apprenticeship programs. But when you look at a country like South Africa, there isn't a lot of linkage with the TVET sector and industry, with a lot of opportunities being missed by the students who are enrolled in these TVET institutions to get the practical experience. So that's one aspect I feel needs to be applied to the curricula. And then also, I would say your timely industry-led curriculum updates. It's a challenge, I feel, that's being faced with regards to how quickly your TVET institutions are able to update their curriculum. you often find a situation in which industry will say, we've got demand for these particular skills, but the TVET don't have those skills currently, and they need to change their curricula. But by the time that process goes through, there's a lot of red tape for that curricular change to be initiated. You find that these industries end up importing skills, and you find then the TVETs introduce these programs. By the time these graduates are finishing, then there's nowhere for them to be absorbed in the market.
What are some key examples of collaboration models and network building strategies that can be replicated in other contexts?
A successful collaboration model is the partnership between ADPP Guinea-Bissau and the Snyder Foundation since 2017. Snyder has enhanced our vocational training program by providing technical trainings, model education kits, and entrepreneurship supports. This partnership has allowed us to expand our curriculum, improving training quality, and meet the demands for skilled workers in the clean energy sector. This model can be replicated elsewhere by partnering with private sectors experts who brings technical knowledge and resources, focusing on industry-specific training and incorporating entrepreneurship into TVET programs ensures relevance, foster local business developments, and build a strong network that align education with the industry's needs.
So in terms of collaboration models, I would say there is not a silver bullet or a one-size-fits-all. This is, of course, also an area to be further developed. But what we normally do when we work with our partner countries is to assess, on the one hand, the demand for skills and capacity and knowledge that is demanded by the implementation of these policies, and the understanding what is the current availability or supply of these skills. So there we would identify the gaps, or knowledge gaps and skills gaps that needed to be covered. And for that, what we normally do is to work with not only with academia, but also the government to understand and make the real connection between the policies and the supply of the skills, but also work with the market, the private sector, and understanding what really are the demands of the private sector. And it's important to listen to them and see what are the recurrent skills gaps that they see and they face. And also get information also from professional associations. So these are, I would say, the four main ingredients to assess and identify the knowledge and skills gaps that would be very informative to assess the situation in terms of technical vocational education and training in a particular country. Of course, we can also draw on experiences of other countries and how they address particular issues of particular knowledge and skills gaps. But for that, international collaboration projects are really important.
What are the key insights from the identification of new skills demands in a green energy transition?
The green energy transition yields several key insights, which is critical for the workforce planning and development. Some of these key insights include emerging technical skills. So this creates demand for new technical skills related to renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency, smart grid systems, and energy storage. Okay. Secondly, it looks at cross-sectoral or cross-functional skills. These are skills such as integration of engineering with environmental science, policy development with technical knowledge, as well as data analytics with energy management. Okay. Thirdly, we have to complement these skills in the green energy transition, which also requires some form of soft skills. Locally in Singapore, we call it critical core skills, which looks at communication, collaboration, problem solving, and adaptability for a more holistic skill set. So apart from these three types of skills, there are also another three areas that we want to look at. One is innovation and entrepreneurship kind of skills. This is to enable individuals to drive sustainable solutions, and identifying these demands underscores the importance of fostering an entrepreneurial mindset and cultivating a culture of innovation. Then we move on to, because it's green skills, you have to have some kind of environmental and social awareness. Okay, so this will relate to skills to environmental impact assessment, community engagement, and even sustainable development. Okay, so by responding to these key insights, we can proactively address the skills demand of the green energy transition to make sure that the workforce is equipped with the necessary skills.
So what we are learning is that young people are learning differently than in decades before. And what we are trying to achieve, or what we are doing within our courses, is to give or adapt to their learning experiences or to their learning needs. So we are trying to implement digital tools, learning tools, which are helping young people to achieve their learning goals, and not to lower the standards on the other hand when they have to work on practical level. So this is one very important insight for us. You have to digitize on the one hand, but you can't lower standards like on the practical part. And we are also trying to always have the newest technology available for our courses. So for instance, in the area of welding or in the area of spray painting, we are already like using digital simulators for developing crown skills, which we are having very good experience with. And this is also limiting the usage of resources, because we don't need that much materials in the end.
So some of the insights that we're seeing, for instance, is one, I would say, the emergence of hybrid roles. So we recently conducted some research looking at learning pathways at intermediary levels for the just energy transition in South Africa. And we saw that there's a lot of demand coming through where they expect the employees in these sectors to have a mixture of skills. So both soft and technical skills, where you find, for instance, a technician needs to have both mechanical, electric, and even digital skills. So there's that emergence of hybrid skills and roles that's coming through. Also, I would say one of the other key insights is that women appear to have more opportunities in the green economy with higher representation. So, for example, we have reported that women account for 32% of the workforce in renewable energy compared to 22% in oil and gas, although they're still significantly underrepresented. But there's a lot of initiatives that are being put through to get more women engaged in these sectors. I remember there's a study we're conducting looking at, we did a rapid assessment of skills needs for renewable energy in Mauritius, and we saw companies actually actively put in adverts where they want more women to be engaged in these sectors.
How can we, in TVET, leverage the green energy transition to promote a more inclusive and equitable future?
Okay, to leverage a green energy transition for inclusivity, TVET program must be designed with a focus on break down barriers to access. In Guinea-Bissau, gender equity remains a significant challenge. Targeted scholarship, mentorship programs for women, and gender sensitivity curriculum are essential to overcome this. Additionally, ensuring that undeserved and rural communities have access to TVET programs requires investing in infrastructure and creating mobile training units to reach hard-to-reach areas. Policymakers must be prioritized inclusively by making TVET affordable, accessible and aligned with the socio-economic realities of the communities, ensuring that no one is left behind in this transition.
TVET is one of the critical pillars, and we see that very vividly in our daily work when we, for example, concentrate on issues around buildings. So we need also to be able to implement the buildings energy transition, and for that we need policies, and very often they are associated with new building codes and new technical recommendations, but then we need the actual people that are able to implement them. I refer buildings because it's a visual, more or less simple example to understand. Buildings are now responsible between 30 and 40% of the energy demand, which corresponds more or less the same in terms of emissions. And if we want to do a proper energy transition in buildings, we also need the professionals that are able to implement those more complex technical systems. And here we are talking about people with skills on space heating or space cooling. Cooling is a topic very much in need now, but also appliances, lighting, even cooking solutions. So these are the skills that should be in demand for this green energy transition. And if we want to go a step further, we also are in a new digital society with a lot of digital tools to help in our implementation of our solutions. And there is a huge opportunity to be inclusive, to integrate people with skills also on digital context, and also for upskilling or reskilling some professionals. So this is a huge opportunity for gender integration or even geographical development. So it's really a great opportunity to include in the TVET as a supporter of the energy transition.
What policy recommendations and future strategies can you share to support a global TVET agenda for the green energy transition?
To support a global TVET agenda for the green energy transition, we must invest in infrastructure, curriculum development, and skill assessment while prioritizing a just transition. Curricula must align with the specific needs of the green energy sector, ensuring graduates possess the necessary skills. Standardized frameworks for skill assessment and certification will ensure global recognition and comparability. Additionally, we must foster partnerships between TVET institutions and green energy companies to provide apprenticeships and work-based learning opportunities. When we're looking ahead, we must embrace emerging technology integration while providing access to online learning and utilizing technologies such as virtual reality for immersive training. Lifelong learning is crucial, ensuring workers can adapt to evolving job requirements. Global collaboration, knowledge sharing, and international partnerships are essential to address global challenges and opportunities. And finally, we must ensure equity and inclusion in TVET programs, ensuring that everyone has equal access to education and training opportunities.
To support the global TVET programs agenda for the green energy transition, policies should be prioritized a just transition. For instance, in Guinea-Bissau and across Africa, this means ensuring that green energy initiatives do not exacerbate existing inequalities, but instead promote equity. Internationally, frames should facilitate technology transfer and capacity building in the developing nations. At the national level, policies should create incentives for the green energy investment, particularly in rural areas, and ensure that TVET systems are closely integrated with the initiatives.
It is really important to provide training opportunities for people already on the job to stay continuously up to date with new innovations, trends, and standards that are out there. So I would like to encourage to create opportunities for exchange programs, especially for smaller projects from developing countries, more grassroots mini hydropower installations, to make sure they don't get left behind in terms of learning new skills and create exchange programs with other more established developers to learn from them, learn from similar projects with similar challenges, and focus on innovations, applications of AI, digitalization, specifically leveraging the new trends in this fast-growing renewable energy industry.
There are a number of policy recommendations and future strategies which can be considered when we want to support a global TVET agenda. So one such area would be in the area of like curriculum development, how the curriculum within schools can be incorporated in order to equip students with the necessary skills on emerging green energy sector. This may also involve like developing new courses or modules which is focused on renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency, and sustainable practices.
In our opinion, or in our experience, it was very helpful to start with very little and small projects, aiming to get into better sustainable development. So what we basically did, we took our basic courses and we are trying with small little steps to implement sustainable curriculums, which then are basically growing like a little tree. So we are starting in the courses for the youngest and then going up to the eldest. And our approach is always on a very practical level. So we are trying not to theorize everything. So we are trying to have very practical impacts within our course, because just as a short explanation, we are mainly doing practical courses. So where people are having the machinery in their hands and trying to get the best results or the best knowledge for their craft. So we are not very theoretical. We are having workshops in our trainings facilities, which are having the places so that you can basically implement every kind of new technology. And that's basically what we are having and what we are trying to achieve. So very small steps on a basic level with a little tasks, and that implementing in curricula is actually a good transitional pathway, which we are recommending on federal level and on international level.
I would like to share that from the context of our work in UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center, we normally in our work with countries normally advocate for ambitious, well articulated policies, and this means that each policy should be accompanied by an implementation plan and an enforcement of this legislation. But then also we have other critical pillars, and these are a hot topic normally spoken about is finance, how to implement these policies and strategies, but also technical vocational education and training. And here, this is one of the critical pillars we normally address. We are normally talking about energy efficiency, renewable energies, integration of nature-based solutions, and solutions around adaptation. So these are all areas that could be well covered and well sustained by technical vocational education and training, and contribute to the full implementation of these policies towards a green transition.
When you look at a global TVET agenda, we need to take into consideration the fact that different countries have different priorities with regards to the green economy and with regards to how their TVET systems operate. So I would say it's a bit difficult, but some of the recommendations I would give is obviously with the alignment of, say, the TVET sector with national green energy policies, and obviously to ensure that TVET programs are aligned to emerging technologies in the country. So for instance, in South Africa, we have TVET, we have emerging technologies such as solar, wind, energy storage, and so on, but aligning the TVET programs to those and to national and international green energy policies, as well as collaboration between local, national, and international partners that are working in the space, and ensuring that there's also a lot of gender representation and gender inclusive policies and TVET programs that are spearheaded across TVET institutions across the globe.
As we move forward and talk about the future of green energy, we also want to hear from our students' voices. They represent the future of clean energy, and it's important to listen to them and learn what they have to say and what they want to share with us.
The classroom experience and the development of understanding of the green energy has really been a life-changing experience. The curriculum is developed in a way that it covers all the fundamental principles of clean energy, such as solar, hydropower, and wind, as well as advanced energy storage technologies. The courses are taught by the experienced faculties, and there are in-class discussions within the faculty and the students, as well as group discussions among the students. The theoretical knowledge is applied in experiments and projects. Collaborative projects are a leading platform to learn about the practical world. Overall, for me, it has been a rewarding experience, and I think and I'm certain that the skills and knowledge that I have gained throughout my entire studies will definitely help, and I'll be able to make a significant difference in the clean energy sector.
Thank you to our wonderful speakers for sharing their time, expertise, insights, and recommendations with us. This Learning Lab series has been an incredible opportunity to learn from subject matter experts from around the world on how we can support and drive a just transition to green energy.
Thank you for being part of the Going Clean, TVET and the Green Energy Transition webinar series. We hope you have enjoyed this episode as well as learned from and reflect upon the content. You are welcome to share this Learning Lab series with your colleagues and partners. We invite you to review the webinar and find more information about this and other UNESCO-UNEVOC projects on the BILT website. Thank you.